So hi, haven't been here for a while. Haven't made a video in a while, and I've been just really busy, and I've been traveling and stuff. So I'm back here, and somebody was asking me about how I do a bit of painting of the items that I make. Sorry, I'm looking around because the place is an absolute mess. Also, I haven't got my camera holder device. Just have a look around, and you'll see that's molds, things that have come out of molds, things that I'm painting. So I have a kind of a production line going on as such. I have a lot more molds than the last time, since the last video. Um, I've gotten a much larger concrete mixing tub. It's a 56 litres, I think. So green men's skulls. Halloween is about a month away, a little bit more than a month away. So I'm going to try and concentrate on get some skulls made. Um, so these are just the concrete molds. I made this yesterday. See, it's a Viking green man style thing. I just made that mold yesterday. Well, I finished it yesterday, so that's the mother mold. Is made out of plaster bandages, but I've added my secret ingredients. You see, the plaster bandages won't set very hard, I don't think, so I've added some Crystical to it. This is what I use now for my anything that isn't concrete is generally Crystical. Is very hard, so the shell is good. It'll support. It won't last as long as fiberglass, but it's certainly a lot cheaper and easy to make. So that's the Crystical mother mold there. Now this is the large green lady mold. What happened there was the small green lady basically has been my best seller. So I asked a friend of mine, Adela, in Romania, would she be able to make me a large green lady so I can make the mold out of it? No, she did. This place is a mess. There it is there. I've painted it. It's not exactly 100% the same as the other. They're slightly different. But this is what it looks like when it's painted. I'm not particularly happy with the paint scheme. I don't like those extra lips, but I had to do something with it anyway just to see what would happen. So where I am now is that I have made a lot of stuff. There's a lot more stuff on the walls over there. And I'm making more stuff. You can see here, these are large skulls. Okay, it needs to be trimmed off here. These are concrete. Dave the Dead skulls, also concrete. Lots of little gargoyles, concrete. This is a new skull with the snakes. I have a green man sitting in the mold there. These are all green men. I thought I've cast the last, basically the last week. So what I do is I mix up concrete, pour it into the mold, leave it 2 days, take it out, pour more. I'm hoping that I'll be able to sell these for Halloween, or that I will get some sort of a retail order. These are small green ladies in various stages. So these are more or less fixed. They just need to be lacquered. So nothing leaves here without, there's the dark bride, I call it. So nothing leaves here without lacquering, because it's makes the stuff waterproof and also gives a very nice look. So this is the small green men, small green ladies, a couple of raven skulls, things like that there. This is this is my number one seller, actually, this particular green man. So I'm making those as quick as I can from concrete, but they have to be painted, then they have to be lacquered. It takes time. Everything takes time. Obviously I have a full-time job. There's a red shield in a gig. There's one on the wall there too. I recently started making these little moons. So I've done those in different colors. There's one in, what is it, sort of goldy grey. There's a goldy blue, a goldy red. So yeah, that's what's going on. basically I've almost no space left. And mostly because I'm kind of messy, but also because there's a lot of stuff. I'm making a lot of stuff and there's a lot of stuff to do. So here is the large green lady face. Now I cast that. I poured that about 3 or 4 days ago. So it's the Crystical, and it's probably ready to paint the next day, but it's much, much, much better if you leave it a few days, because it'll lose all the... You don't want any water in it. Because it'll be softer, it won't take the paint as well, and also it can actually start to smell. It can, the water can leak out through the paint layer. Now this doesn't happen really with Crystical. It doesn't hold much water, but with softer plasters, yeah, it can do. You know, if you haven't got the mixture just right. So what I'm doing here is, this is, you can see this is quite big. This is about a foot big. About a foot high, and there's a few bits and pieces there where the paint has to go in. This is the first coat. Okay, the first coat. This is acrylic, green acrylic. So I want to get the paint in all of these leaf patches. I'm going to put a little bit of water onto the brush here just to help it. The Crystical will absorb a little bit of the water, but basically, once it's set solid, it's waterproof. I have a skull out the back garden as an experiment, and it's there pretty much since this time last year without any waterproofing, without any varnishing, and it's fine. It's not dissolving or breaking up. So somebody asked me in a previous video, can you use Crystical or Herculite outdoors? The answer is yes, you can. But in my opinion, it's much, much better if you actually put an exterior paint of some description over it. Especially a masonry paint before you put on your top coat. Now that's if you're going to leave it outdoors. That's if you're going to have it outdoors. If you're not going to have it outdoors, then that's not a problem at all. You can just hang it up indoors and whatever, it'll be fine. So I'm going to get a smaller brush now, and I'm going to go into these smaller pieces. I want to get them all done because you can see these little pieces. That's, if it's not done correctly, you'll see it. You'll notice it, and it'll be. I want everything to be. I want an attention to detail. My stuff isn't expensive, but I like to think that it's well made. So, little small brush in there. See, with these leaves, you will have these little cracks, little hidey places where you need to work your paint. Yeah. So this is it's okay. Yeah. Just gonna have a spin it around, have a look. It doesn't seem to have missed any places. That's okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn her over. You can see it's just plain white there from where it was cast to the Crystical. So I'm going to put masonry paint on the back of it. I always paint the back. It's just a habit, but I think it's a good habit, because if you have this outdoors, and if it's on a wall, for example, the rain is running down the wall. If this isn't painted here, there's a chance that the rain will eventually cut a groove into the material. So this is just the ordinary masonry paint. Now I have this a long time. This tin has lasted me a long, long time, and it's great stuff. It's not expensive, and it's very, very good. Now, if anybody's watching, they would like to know a little bit more, or they have any interest in what I'm doing, so why not like and subscribe? I need subscribers. I'd like subscribers to be good. I'll be able to give me more of an impetus, to keep going. I think in the last, certainly the last 12 months, I've learned a lot about this hobby, considering completely self-taught. And if anybody has any questions or anything, if you want to reach out, we can help each other. That's what it's all about. Okay, so I'm just putting black masonry on there, as thick as you like. It'll soak in slightly. It'll form a weatherproof layer. And this one is actually sold. Somebody sent me the postal order for this particular one. I put it on Instagram. Is great for marketing. So this large green lady had been, I don't know how many people asked me could I make one. It took me time because one thing and another, you can't just it took time anyway. So once it was ready, then straight off the bat I got 3 or 4 people saying, oh yeah, well, I'd like one of those, which is great. This is fantastic. This is exactly what it's all about. So a little bit of white round there. Going to take, so this one is sold to somebody who's bought a couple of things off me. That's just amazing as far as I'm concerned. If they like the stuff, they keep coming back, they buy more stuff. It's great. It's brilliant. You know, I'm not going to get rich doing this, but it's a lot of fun, and if you make people happy, you make people happy. So much the better. Okay, so I'm going to give it a couple of little white spots there, but nothing special. Now, okay, so when that dries, that'll form weatherproof layer on the back of the plaque there. So I'm just going to leave that to dry. I'm going to leave it till tomorrow. You see the face on the lady there? Yeah. I'm going to highlight that the usual way. I usually use gold to highlight it. So I'm going to put her down here to dry. There's very little space on the floor now at this stage, so I also have to be careful when I'm stumbling around that I don't break everything, break anything. This is what I have. This workshop is okay. It's good. I'll put the paint back down on the floor there. So this is one of the large skulls that I made from concrete. That's not paint. That's just a little bit of cement. So I've painted the whole thing black. Then I've done it in blue acrylic, and then I did the teeth in gold. It's very, very heavy. It's a great weight to it. Pretty much life size. So I'm going to lead with a few of these, hopefully, for Halloween. I have a few of them here on the floor. There's one, there's another. I usually leave them for certainly more than a week before I paint them in concrete. So I need now is to make a few sales, which should be nice. Etsy's doing okay. Sheila Gig there, it needs to be varnished. I just finished painting that this evening. I should probably make another Sheila Gig mold because I can't really make very many of them. This is the mold, Sheila Gig mold. I made that poured silicone. Normally my molds are brush on latex. This is brush on latex. These are all homemade. This I poured because for some reason the latex didn't stick to the original Sheila Gig. So, but I mean, even that's only one mold there, and that used best part of, I think it's a kilo bottle, isn't it? Best part of a bottle of the silicone. It's expensive, and it's also hugely messy. If it goes wrong in any way, it's a nightmare. But having said all that, I think I need to get more of it. I need to make some more of those Sheilas. They're a good seller. This green man here also very nice. This one needs to be varnished. So this is the dark bright. I made some of these. See, it looks kind of greeny in whatever light I have here. It's actually not green. That's a gold highlight. But I made some of them in the Herculite. Crystical, sorry. This and a couple of others I made in concrete because I was doing a concrete mix. And I said I pour them in. So yeah, it's fine. The concrete, as long as, if people ask, how do you stop getting bubbles in concrete? There is a foolproof mixed way. There's 2 foolproof ways. In this mold, you're going to get lots of little. You've got lots of little. They're not even undercuts. They're just small seams. Okay, and your cement or your concrete mix or whatever is going to get in there, or it isn't going to go in there. This is the problem. And then you're going to get bubbles. What you do is, very simple, spray the inside of your moulds with water. There, I told you, spray the inside of your moulds with water before you pour the mix in. Make sure the mix is wet enough and make sure it's agitated enough that the inside of the mould is coated. But if you spray it with water, the capillary action, or whatever you call it, will drag the concrete, the mix, the liquid part of the mix towards the front of the mould, and it'll eliminate your bubbles. So you won't get bubbles. You might get bubbles if the mixture isn't mixed correctly. But apart from that, spray the inside of your mould. Look, you'll always get some. You'll always get some bubbles. 1, 2, tiny little ones, but there aren't enough there. It's going to cause me any real problems. And you see there's a fair amount of standout detail on that as well. So, you know, if you don't spray the inside of the mold for something like this, you're going to get bubbles, and then you're going to have to try and fill them in, which is a pain in the neck. There's a green man there come out. No bubbles at all. As well as, I suppose the mixture might have something to do with it too. So I know I like to put in quite a watery mixture, but not watery enough that it's not going to set properly or it's going to lose its strength anyway. Look, it's not something that you can explain very easily. It takes trial and error. There was a couple of tiny bubbles in this. Now you see this has got quite a lot of detail in it. There's a bubble there. Couple of tiny bubbles. They can be easily filled. Cement mixed with water, and then you just apply it with your finger, and that's the end of the bubbles. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pour this large green lady, and I'm going to pour this Viking green man chap using the Crystical. I want to see how it turns out. So I'll see you later.